What's up, Taiwan? I'm Ethan Liu with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan is still waiting for a massive delivery of weapons from the United States. Now, a U.S. military official says they're doing everything possible to speed up the process. U.S. Assistant Secretary of Defense for Indo-Pacific Affairs Eli Ratner made the comments during the House committee hearing on Thursday. He said that systematic production problems are causing the delay, but denied there was a backlog. Over $19 billion worth of weapons and equipment has yet to arrive in Taiwan. Some of those orders, which include fighter jets and long-range rocket systems, were placed as far back as 2019. Shares of Taiwanese chip giant TSMC slumped 3% on Friday. This comes after it flagged a 10% drop in full-year sales. And construction of the company's new plant in the U.S. has reportedly been delayed over labor shortages. Joyce Zhen has the details.
It's been a rough week for the world's largest contract chip maker. Taiwanese semiconductor giant TSMC has seen dropping profits alongside setbacks in building its new high-profile manufacturing plant in the U.S. The company's shares slumped 3% on Friday. That's after TSMC said it expects sales for this year to drop by a total of 10%. At its latest online briefing, the chipmaker reported its profits had fallen by more than 23%, with a second quarter income of $5.85 billion. But according to economist Alicia Garcia Herrero, these drops are smaller than expected and actually signal that the rest of the year could be better for the global chip industry.
Of course, there's still a lot of issues here because the second half was expected to be better on the basis of the U.S. recovering, Europe recovering, and China recovering. But all of this is uncertain.
TSMC has also said that its high-profile plans to build a chip factory in the U.S. state of Arizona will no longer start next year. The plant is eventually supposed to make chips for iPhones and AI. But the company says that a shortage of technical talent has caused serious delays.
We are encountering certain challenges, as there is an insufficient amount of skilled workers with those specialized expertise required.
But there might be more to this holdup than just staffing problems. TaiwanPlus spoke to a former American TSMC engineer who has asked to stay anonymous. They came to Taiwan from the U.S. under a training program in anticipation of the Arizona plant, but quit before it was over. They said that the work was endless and that the company's success is only due to the many engineers who will put the well-being of the company before their own, in the hopes of big bonuses and promotions. Whether the roadblock is finding the right skilled workers or a retention problem, it's clear that some feel TSMC is not prioritizing its people as much as it does its advanced tech. Howard Zhang and Joyce Zhen for TaiwanPlus.
The public is questioning the professionalism and practices of police in northern Taiwan's Taoyuan city. In the spotlight, their handling of a case of sexual extortion involving a minor. Charlie Storer reports.
In a shocking act of negligence, an attempted sting by police in northern Taiwan led to the sexual assault of a 13-year-old girl. In November 2020, the girl, who has not been named, made contact with an adult man online. The man persuaded her to send him explicit photos of herself. When she was unwilling to meet him, the man threatened to make the photos public. At this point, the girl went to her local police in Taoyuan's Zhongli district. Officers there encouraged her to arrange a meeting with the man and said they would apprehend him. Instead, even though police were on hand, the man took the girl away and assaulted her. It was only after the man was later caught and sentenced to 8 years that the police's actions on that day have now come to light. They are now being criticized not only for failing to protect a minor, but also for potentially violating Taiwan's laws concerning entrapment.
违反了警察职权行使法第3条第3项的规定。钓鱼侦查的时候，我们都会在意的是他们的违法侦查行为对被告的影响。
The Police Power Exercise Act says police may not lure or abet people to commit crimes or engage in other illegal acts. The Zhongli police are defending their handling of the case.
本案侦办过程从受理、笔录制作及行动当时，均有监护人同意及全程在场陪同。本分局将深自检讨改进，并配合桃园地检署调查厘清。
The precinct had already been under scrutiny for its officers' actions in recent months. In February, one officer was sentenced to 4 months for abusing his power in stopping and detaining a woman. And in May, officers were caught on camera beating a man who caused a disturbance in a convenience store. The latest incident has cast further doubts about the ethics and professionalism of the local police force. Leon Lien and Charlie Storer for TaiwanPlus.
The father of a 2-year-old child who died from COVID a year ago has lost his lawsuit against local authorities. That means he won't receive any state compensation. Last year, the father sued the new Taipei city government for a symbolic $1 Taiwan dollar or 3 US cents on the grounds of negligence. He said his sick child, known as NN, had to wait for over an hour for an ambulance to go to a hospital, which he says led to his son's death. This claim was previously rejected by city officials.
我完全没有损失，因为我最大的损失的人已经离开了。我要这个1元，我赢了或输了，人还是离开。
Diaries written by former Taiwanese leaders are being returned to the country. That's after a court ruling in California earlier this month. The decision ends a decades-long legal battle between Stanford University, Taiwan's government, and members of the Chiang family. The diaries will now go to Academia Historica, the Taiwan government's presidential archive. The diaries were written by former Taiwan President Chiang Kai-shek and his son, Chiang Jing-kuo. Between them, the two ruled Taiwan for 4 decades, most of that time under martial law. TaiwanPlus reporter Bryn Thomas spoke to Professor Lin Xiaoting from the Hoover Institution about their impact and the importance of these documents.
This process had been going on for over 15 years. So tell me, why did it take so long?
Because virtually we have 2 litigation across the Pacific. One in the United States starting from 2013, and the other one starting from 2015 in Taiwan. So it took 8 long years for the different parties of the Chiang family heirs to finally reach a consensus with the Academia Historica in Taiwan. And then the U.S., federal court in the United States then just follow suit.
Why is it important that these documents be controlled by Taiwan?
I mean, these are the personal diaries and the presidential papers for the 2 top leaders of Taiwan. And it would be very natural for me that these presidential papers and their personal diaries eventually return to a territory they ruled for decades.
How do you think they could affect future scholarship?
I think as soon as the diaries return to Taiwan, more local scholars and graduate students will be able to have easy access to these diaries, and they will probably be able to produce novel research based on these archival materials.
Do you think these documents could change perceptions about Chiang Kai-shek and his son?
Well, I think that nowadays there's a divided historical memories about Taiwan's past and about the 2 top leaders of Taiwan. I do hope that by having easy access to their personal diaries and to the inner thought of their ideas about how the government should move forward and how the policy should be formulated, people will be able to have a better sense about what are on their minds and then why they made the decisions. And hopefully by having access to their inner thought, people will have a better understanding about these 2 top leaders and will be able to narrow the current gap between the 2 extremes.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally, we leave you with images from an exhibition in the Netherlands that explores ancient Egyptian culture through music. I'm Ethan Liu. Take care, and I'll see you next time.